Stay. Stay. No. Oh, shit. Last month, I took my bot YUGE out to the Evergreen State Fairgrounds for WAR's annual event at the Hobby Show. The only thing that's new going on with YUGE since the last event is I swapped out the motor from a 1100 kV to a 1700 kV to try to get a little bit more speed, to do a little bit more damage and slice through some of the armor. So we're going to see how that works out. We had a great turnout for the event with 25 Beetles competing. My first matchup was against Generica, which is a two-wheel drive beater bar bot, which actually is a pretty good matchup for YUGE because they tend to not have enough reach to get up to the body or anything important on YUGE. So I was feeling pretty confident going into that. My strategy was to be patient and just try to go around to a side and avoid weapon-on-weapon collisions. And also just be aware of where I was in the arena and try to stay away from the pit. So let's go ahead and see how that one went.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, fight! America looks like a suicide over by the field. That's Trump, there it is. Alright, 1 minute in, 2 minutes to go.
So that was a great way to start the event. And I noticed once Generica's weapon went down that he was kind of moving over towards the pit, trying to bait me over there, hoping that I would ricochet off something and land in the pit, as I tend to do a lot. Not a bad strategy there, but I could tell that that's what he was going for. So I was taking my time, waiting on the other side, and eventually he came back over and re-engaged. And then eventually what happened on the last hit, when YUGE was flipped over upside down and the weapon was spinning downward, it went right through his top plate and cut out all of his electronics, and the battery was out, and the builder actually signed the top plate and gave this to me as a little trophy for winning. So that was pretty cool. So the next fight was against Who's That Multibot, which, as you could tell, is a multibot. They're two 1.5 pound vertical spinners, but one of them, the spinner wasn't working. So they bolted on a strip of UHMW across the front to use as a keep away stick. So going into this, I was thinking I should try to avoid that and go for the bot that was 100% working, try to take that one out because it was the bigger threat. So that was my plan, and we'll see how that goes.
And 3, 2, 1, fight. Entanglement going on here, so yes, we're going to pause.
So at this point, the UHMW stick got sucked into my weapon system, and it actually tore the weapon pulley, which is made out of TPU. So that ripped apart, and it was just kind of hanging by a thread. for the rest of the fight. And once it gets kind of tweaked like this, the needle roller bearings inside can tend to bind up and it doesn't spin very good. So you'll notice it'll be kind of in and out for the rest, but pretty much I'm weaponless for the rest of the fight. And the strategy then is to just try to move around and get the two bots to hit each other and hopefully break each other or get high centered somehow and win the fight that way. So let's see how that goes.
One, fight. Just over the halfway point. Yeah. I tried. Alright. Tapped in over in the corner. Seconds on this match. Hard to believe that little thing. 30 seconds. All right, 10 seconds remaining. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Match over. Let's go to our judges.
So unfortunately, I wasn't able to get them to kill each other. They did get some good hits in on each other and knock the other bot around a little bit, but it ended up just a loss by judge's decision. And with the messed up weapon pulley, the TPU ended up melting around the shaft and getting all gummed up. And it actually turned out to be really hard to get off after it dried. So I went ahead and swapped out to the spare bot and just to bring in a fresh one and move on to the next fight, which was against a really unique bot called Predatory Blending. And it's as the name implies, it has treads kind of in a triangle shape, so it can kind of roll any which way. And it has a hub motor inside that is actually high enough to reach up to hit the body of YUGE. So I was a little bit concerned about that. And so going into this, what I wanted to do was come around to a side, take out a tread, and hopefully get them so they couldn't move around very good, and then get some more hits in from the back or any way I could, and try to take them out that way. So let's see how that one goes.
3, 2, 1, and fight. Oh. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and your winner in the B-square is you. All right.
So that was a great way to bounce back from the last fight and get another win under our belt and get back into the winning column. And we ended up taking off one of their belts, which the builder gave me. And he also signed the titanium wedge that it got a little busted up. And he gave that to me, so that was pretty cool, like that. It was a pretty clean fight for us. We didn't get any damage, so I just had to recharge the batteries and get ready for the next one. So up next, we were facing Vertically Challenged, which is another bot that can't really reach high enough to hit YUGE. So I was feeling pretty confident going into this one. It was a pretty good matchup for us. So basically, I was just going to try to go for it and see how that went. So let's check it out.
Right.
That one was short and sweet and pretty messy, just the way we like it. So I didn't even actually have to recharge the batteries, and I was ready to quickly go up against the next opponent, which was Brick. And Brick, as the name implies, is a very durable brick-like bot that is just made to basically break your weapon with its face. And he's got TPU wrapped all the way around the bot with a metal plow in the front, so it can take hits from pretty much all sides except for the top, which has kind of a thin titanium on it. So obviously my plan is to try to go over the top and get hits through the top plate, hopefully hit a battery or maybe damage a drive motor, because it relies a lot on having those drive motors because it uses magnet downforce for traction. So if you can get those messed up even just a little bit, it can struggle driving. So that's the plan, and let's see how it goes.
3, 2, 1, fight! Match over.
Well, that didn't go exactly as planned. We started out pretty strong, got a lot of good hits in on them, and as you can see by the top plate here, we messed that up pretty good, but we didn't happen to hit any of the vital electronics inside, so he's able to keep on going. And then I eventually ran into the same problem where the TPU weapon pulley ended up breaking again. And once that was struggling, I knew I didn't have much of a chance. So I was kind of trying to just still show aggression and kind of rush him and do whatever I could. Got a little carried away and ended up falling into the pit. So it's become pretty clear that the TPU pulley just isn't strong enough to work. I was really hoping that it would because they're just so easy to print and make. But it looks like I'm going to have to just bite the bullet and send the files over to PCBWay or something like that and have it machined out of aluminum. I think having that will just make it so much more durable, and having a working weapon on a big wheeled style bot is super important because you don't have any ground game. You can't push or do anything if it goes down. So that's kind of my most important thing, is to keep the weapon system going. So for future plans, that's the next thing that I want to do, is get that machined. I really liked how the higher KV motor worked out. I think I got some harder hits. It was slicing through the armor a little bit easier. So I think that works out great. I'm going to stick with that. So between that and then getting the new pulley, I think we're going to be in good shape for the next tournament, which I don't know when it is yet. So in the meantime, I'm going to do some work on the weapon system of Sling Blade that got damaged in the last event. So look out for that.